What's the sexiest moment you've seen by accident? NSFW. I was walking home drunk at 2 a.m. and walked past some people doing it doggy style on their knees behind a tree. We were no more than 10 feet from each other. Our eyes met. They stopped like deer in headlights. Then in my drunken stupor I say, "Party on," throw up some devil horns and walk away. That was the appropriate response. Good on you. Obligatory edit. Now my top comment is about how not to disturb people randomly having sex in public. I guess it's better than a comment about butt play. Parking my truck at a motel. The room window in front of me had their blinds open about 2 feet. Inside was a man in a suit, a woman in a very sexy black dress, and a second woman naked except for a garter belt and nylons. Shit was about to get real in there. The motel tells me this was most likely a guy spending his week's paycheck on some hookers. Not that there is anything wrong with that. I was 13, selling newspaper subscriptions door to door around 7 p.m. one night. Hit an apartment complex for that easy money. Knocked on a door, and before the third knock, the door flew open, and a very attractive brunette in black lacy lingerie and thigh highs came into my life. Well, hello though shit, and slammed the door in my face. Obviously was expecting someone else. My balls dropped that night. I had a similar one. I was delivering post as a temp job one summer before uni, and I knocked on the door to this flat and a woman answered the door. Perfect 10, wearing what was basically a flannel, just jumped out of the shower. She says, "Oh, sorry, I thought you were my sister." I reply, "No problem. I have a package for you." Sadly I was not invited in. Hey, life has a funny way of not being a porno. That's a great quote. You gave her the wrong package. Flying home for Christmas on leave from Navy Hospital in 1973. Still very weak, so I was first passenger on plane. Stewardess has placed extra pillows and blankets on seat across from me. She leans over to get the last one. She was wearing a garter and stockings and nothing else under her skirt. Would have been even more exciting, except all I could do was imagine. I am 6'2" tall and weighed about 95 pounds at the time. I had lost so much weight due my illness, so all I could do was think about sex, but even if she had been willing, nothing I could have done. Oh, funniest sexy story also happened at airport. Tall sexy blonde wearing a skin-tight red dress, barely cover her rear. Tight enough you can tell, no bra and only a thong. She's walking and I'm bored, so I slow down to keep from passing her up as we're walking in same direction. As I get to my gate I notice an elderly Asian couple sitting on seats facing us as we walk towards them. I've been staring at this lady's ass, helping the skirt rides up a little higher. So instead I'm watching to see if the old man has a reaction. She walks and then turns to head to the check-in counter right in front of the couple. Old Asian man doesn't move anything but his eyes. You can see him strain to watch without moving his head. I thought that was hilarious, but I was wrong. As soon as the lady in the red dress walks past them, the old lady also, without moving anything else, moves arm next to the old man and slams her elbow into the side of the old man. He just grunts but gets a little smile on his face. It was all I could do to not stop and laugh out loud. They had been married long enough. The old woman knew he had looked and he figured it was still worth the jab in the side. That's actually pretty damn cute. Smile. Yeah, I got a laugh from thinking about how she knew he was looking even if she didn't see him look, and how he smiled both at getting the look and knowing she still got jealous. Funniest part to me was in how the expressions, with exception of his small smile, never changed on their faces. Kept looking straight ahead the whole time. My preteen self was in line for the diving board at the local pool when the girl who just jumped in ran back into line, with her right boob popping out of her bikini. After staring for a good 5 seconds, she finally noticed and giggled as she put it back, which gave me the opportunity to learn just how weird it is to jump into a pool and swim with a woody. Did you use it as a rudder to impress her? Shark fin. Catch a breeze with your trunks and you've got a mast. Sail up to her Jack Sparrow style. I've come for your booty, Savvy. was out fly fishing in the middle of nowhere in Slovenia. I saw two people off in the distance further down the river. They appeared to be naked. As I got closer, I saw a female sitting on a stool with her legs open. A man was on his knees in the water and he was shaving her pussy with a razor that he was rinsing off in the river. I'll never forget this. For real? Or is this some movie plot and I never saw the movie? Friend's stepmom had recently married his dad. She was from Florida. We were moving stuff to her grandparents' house. It was the middle of summer. She was sweating, and it was great for 15-year-old me. Then she rolled her shirt up to show some glorious underboob. It would have lasted much longer if she didn't see me gawking, but it's an image forever burned into my mind. Was walking down the street in Center City, Philly during the day when I had the sudden urge to look up at one of the apartment buildings. There, on about the 4th floor, I saw a couple butt-ass naked, going at it doggy style against the window. She was making her O face and opened up her eye during the peek and locked immediately with mine. I quickly looked at the pavement and just kept on walking. They wouldn't have been doing that if they didn't like chancing somebody seeing them. Next time, give them a thumbs up. Back in high school, I was taking my dog for an evening walk around my neighborhood. She's doing her business and starts barking up at someone's house. So of course I looked to see what made her bark, and lo and behold, there's a girl from my class, topless and just out of the shower, looking out her window. I don't think she saw me, but I made sure to feed my dog extra treats when we got back. Damn, I miss that mutt. The bro was strong with that dog. My freshman orientation of college, we are all going outside for another damn tour. I'm sitting up against a wall when this absolutely stunning girl in a dress walks out of the commons door and a gust of wind hits her, lifts the dress up, and reveals she's not wearing underwear. Started the tour with a boner. Did you see her from the front or back? Looked out a hotel room window to a woman, the opposite side of the street, on her bed, fingering herself and recording it. My dick smashed the glass. See kids, this is why you need to go to the eye doctor regularly and keep your prescription updated. I once went to a nude beach without my glasses. So disappointing. Only saw one woman that wasn't blurry, and I had to lean over her and squint. When I was younger, I looked out of my window and saw my neighbor masturbating in his bathroom. He went on for about 10 minutes and they were some of the best 10 minutes of my 16-year-old life. You would have loved chat roulette. I know, I really missed out as a teenager. There's still time. Just think about all of the lonely old men, lonely fat men, lonely young men, and lonely skinny men there are out there, in the dark, with their dicks out for you. Plus, the dick is so prevalent at that site that you can browse through, as if you're shopping, until you find one that suits your interests. You really made it sound like a used car dealership. Alright, let's see if this is the proper thread for this. In junior year of high school, our class took a trip to snorkel and scuba dive in the Key Largo, Florida. At the location we stayed, there was also an underwater hotel for guests. When we first got there, we had to learn how to properly snorkel. The scuba divers had already taken a course on how to scuba, and we learned near the underwater hotel. So as we're practicing, all the kids started hanging out in one area and spending more time than normal underwater. One of the instructors swam over near us and dove down to see what all the kids were looking at. A couple had rented the underwater hotel room for their honeymoon and were doing what newlyweds do on their honeymoon, with the curtains open. So the instructor, in an attempt to warn them of the 40 or so high schoolers watching them, tapped on the window. When they finally noticed women had a look of such fear on her and ran to close the curtains while simultaneously attempting to cover herself. The man, on the other hand, appeared to be in shocked silence, but just as the curtain was pulled shut, he appeared to have a look of pride, like he was bragging about his incredibly attractive wife to a bunch of high schoolers he would never again meet. We then had a class meeting about how it is improper to watch people have sex. One year in my mid-20s, I lived next door to a family in Cambridge, MA. Their daughter came home from college that spring. My bedroom window faced hers. She used wooden blinds that were more or less completely transparent. Each night, before bed, She would just stand naked in front of her mirror, or sometimes she'd sit on the edge of her bed and face the mirror. That summer she studied her own body closely, and I guess I got to know it pretty well, too.